I'm Josh Liston from On the Bubble Podcast, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual host. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 239 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, September 23rd, 2018. Now, I was going to try a whole bunch of new technology stuff this week for you. It is coming soon for all you video viewers later down the line, but technology does not like us very much here on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. It's a recurring theme since the very beginning. Anthony knows what I'm talking about.
Damn right. Technical difficulties is our middle name.
It used to be part of a drinking game that we had for this show. Willie, I don't think you were around when we had the ATGN drinking game.
You guys weren't drinking when I came in.
No, we had a drinking game that we played once live on the air. You can find it in the archives somewhere if you know where to look. I don't know where to look.
I would start drinking if you guys play it.
Yeah, it would drive a lot of people to drink probably.
December, I might start the drinking game. I can do Sunday morning drinking.
Ooh,
Fuck yeah, I can.
I can't do that.
Excuse me as I enjoy this thing that's better than Coke. Pepsi.
Ooh. Willie Nelson is sponsored by Pepsi. If you want to support Willie, go buy a Pepsi and tell him Willie sent you.
They really worked on that ad campaign. Something that's better than Coke.
You goddamn right. I think I saw that joke. Of course, the old joke. Like, I'd be the worst drug dealer because first time someone says, "You got any Coke?" Like, no, I only got Pepsi.
And that's how Willie got shivved.
Wow,
that's the reason out of everything else.
Yeah, he said a lot of other things that should have got him shit before that. Jesus.
Yeah, but he's not messing with someone's Coke.
That's true.
You're messing with someone's Coke, you're probably going to get shivved. That's what I've learned.
Well, technically, it's not their Coke at the time because it's not theirs yet because they're trying to buy it from me.
Their want to get Coke? How about that?
It's nacho cheese.
I don't really know Coke heads. I don't know really any of that well at all, but I mean, I don't know them to be a very attacking group of people. It's not like they're meth heads.
Not yet.
Fair enough. You know, you got a point there.
I mean, I don't
Although
know.
I can't say anything because I don't know any of these type of people, so
Or
Somehow I find that statement false.
you think I would know meth heads?
I don't know.
I think you know meth heads. I think you know coke heads. I think you know someone that can get you any type of drug that you could think of in your area.
You think my area has? We have a hard time finding stuff.
Wait. At a previous job, you drove parts to garages and to mechanics, right?
Yep.
Motherfucker, you know meth heads.
Whoa. Seeing them every so often and dropping something off and then leaving, that's something way different than knowing someone.
I'm not saying you're best friends with them, but I bet you could give me a list of 3 of their names right now, of which ones you go, yeah, that motherfucker probably had meth.
So what he's saying is you know of meth heads, I guess.
You think I remember names?
No, but you remember how to drive to their garage, and if you needed meth, if you really, really needed it, I bet you could find it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're best friends with them.
I will say the area I was driving is in Graham, North Carolina. That place, I'm sure it's some boring place where drugs probably will help the boringness.
That's what we have. Garden City here, just outside of Boise.
All right, I'm trying to think of this.
That's where we keep our trailer parks and our meth addicts.
I'm thinking like some of these people are really fucking nice. So I don't.
But just because they're a meth head doesn't mean they're not nice. I just know a lot of mechanics work super long hours, and a lot of them use chemicals to make it easier to work those long hours.
Well, I can tell you this. I don't remember any of them having meth mouth.
Okay, that's good.
That's fair.
See? Yeah. Because they could like meth and not be a full-blown meth addict. They maybe just do a little speed on Monday, get started for the workday. Who knows?
Although I do remember starting to hung out with one person one time that I used to go to high school with and knew them then, and kind of afterwards, I haven't seen them for a couple years. I came to them like, oh, they got meth mouth.
Oh, luckily I haven't run into that.
Because they were going to college and everything.
Ooh,
I feel
that
bad.
is sad. Lucky I haven't run into that.
I can only assume it's meth mouth.
Yeah, unless they started sucking on tailpipes.
It's probably meth mouth.
I mean, I don't know what they're sucking on.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Ooh, for
probably
sure.
not good for him if it gave him meth mouth, let's be honest. But what do I know?
Not
Meth mouth,
much.
apparently.
Hey, this is the land of opiate addiction here that I live in.
I mean,
That's
I
right.
wish, but apparently I can't get any, even though I kind of need it every now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
you guys
clarify.
are all about the hillbilly heroin out there, right, Willie? Or right, Chris?
Well, there's a big problem with opiates here. Big problem. Lots of people
Yeah.
are dying because of addiction, and because you can go and read news stories of small towns that have somehow ordered millions upon millions of pills when there's like 1,000 people that live in that town, and you're like, huh, this doesn't seem right, but it hasn't been fixed yet. So
And yet,
it's-
for some odd reason, OxyContin's still legal to prescribe to people, but weed is still illegal in some states.
most
Ain't nobody ever
states-
died from weed.
Most
As I
states.
said, most.
Yeah.
They're still working on it. Yeah,
And-
motherfuckers are dying by prescription in states where you still can't fucking smoke a weed.
Yeah,
Goddamn ridiculous.
yeah. There's,
Stop. One second. Where you can't even smoke a weed.
A weed.
Single weed,
So-
please.
That's right.
would
How
you like
much
right.
is a single weed?
Would you like me to bring you a dandelion and you can smoke it then?
I'll take that over some Oxy.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I wouldn't want to be on oxys or something like that because the last thing you want to do is get addicted, and I don't want to run that chance.
So I can just see some posh guy coming up and say, "One weed, please."
One dandelion, please.
They did that on Kevin Smith's new show, Hollyweed, where they had Adam Brody from Orange County was like a producer for a porn set, and he comes into the store. He's like, "I need just like some weed." And like he came in like knowing nothing. He just slaps a big fucking stack of cash on the table. He's like, "How much weed will that buy me?" It's like, "Oh, we're gonna take advantage of you, you dumb motherfucker." It was funny.
How many weed do I need to buy to make a single spliff?
A single split.
I don't think this character would have known the word spliff.
He had trouble with it.
I wonder if that show's gonna get bought up though. That first episode was funny.
Well, you just had a preview about how I'm going to read the promo.
Oh no, God!
Indeed.
What have we wrought upon the world? What's this chaos?
Must be our own karma. We deserve it, apparently.
We probably
Posh
did.
Willie? That's what's going to
We
be.
somehow earned this punishment.
We did. You know what else we
You
earned?
hey, you can blame Bachman.
What? How is it my fault?
The whole one weed thing. That's what started it.
That's not my fault that you took the bad joke and made it worse. That's your fault.
Well, you would think we would learn to expect that by now, though.
That is true. This is very true.
Yeah, you're the one that gave me the idea for it.
This has kind of become our pattern.
We reap what we sow here. We definitely sowed out some. Here's some bad jokes. Let's see what happens. And
I need to quit sewing.
Oh, I do want to say I've never done cocaine before in my life. I've asked somebody about it. What is it like? And they said, "Don't ever do it. It's just addiction."
Yeah,
they were doing it at the time. Like, don't ever do it. It's just fucking addiction.
yep.
I'll be honest, I specifically avoided cocaine during my drug using days because I was afraid I would like it and get a lot of artwork done on it.
That was 10 years ago. I asked that person that. Wow.
Welcome to feeling
That's
old.
22, fresh and young Willie.
He had hair then. Long.
I had long.
You had long
hair then.
Jesus-like hair.
I have a picture where I'm Jesus, pretty much, beside a Jesus action figure.
You're probably more Jesus than Jesus. I'll give it to you.
Well, I mean, I'm white though, so
Yeah. He's just meets
that's
the
what all
picturally
these-
accurate.
He's the
That's what all these
Americanized
idiots-
version of Jesus.
Yeah, that's all these idiots think he looks like.
I don't know. But I do know what time it is now, and I think it's News of the Week time.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the News of the Week.
So welcome to the News of the Week. It's that part of the show where we run down what is in our minds some of the most interesting, geeky, and or nerdy news to have popped up in the past week. Sometimes a little bit more because we get hung up on things. I had to say sometimes a little bit more because my news really starts like 3 weeks ago and we get numbers today. Yeah, you guys thought you might make it another show without us talking about Marvel Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Well, you thought wrong because we're talking about it again. And don't turn off the podcast.
We're talking about it at least twice.
Don't turn off the podcast. I swear we're not going to just like start gushing about the game. But this is actually a pretty cool fact. Spider-Man for PS4 is now officially the fastest selling PlayStation first party game ever. The Insomniac open world game sold over 3.3 million copies during its first 3 days on sale.
Yes.
Let's compare Sorry?
Isn't it technically a second party game?
Well, I mean, it's licensed directly. I think
because Insomniac is not owned by Sony, so it's a second party, isn't it? They own the rights to make it for the PlayStation, but they gave it to a third party to make it so it's a second party, right?
Let's go with that. I don't know. I don't know what the licensing deal was. But how does PlayStation's Spider-Man compare to the previous award winners? Previously, the top 3-day seller was Sony Santa Monica's God of War, which sold 3.1 million copies in its first 3 days.
Are we talking about 2018 God of War?
Yes.
Because Santa Monica also made the original God of War.
Correct. So this is for PlayStation 4. So yes, it would be Santa Monica from this year, 2018. And then prior to that, it was Naughty Dog's Uncharted 4 with 2.7 million sold in the first 7 days. Hey, guys.
I'm sorry. What game?
Hey, I just bought that too. It's sitting on my shelf upstairs, so I can play it at some point.
I got the special edition thing that came with it. Woo.
Of course, Willie has it right next to him where he's sitting.
I'm really glad that Sailor Poland put the comment in the chat room that's there. But live services are the future. How can Spider-Man be better than anything Ubisoft, EA, or Activision put out? Yeah, this goes to show if you build a good single-player game that has a great story, good graphics, that sucks you in, you don't have to rely on microtransactions or a bunch of gaming in the cloud or putting out a new copy of a game every year that forces people to buy it. It's proof that people still want a good single-player game. Yes, people will buy up these other games, but if you put a good single-player game out there, people are going to buy it up. In fact, some people, like myself, will even buy the damn console just to be able to play this game.
I mean, if you look at it historically, that's what PlayStation's been doing. They've been putting out good first-party, single-player games that don't have any microtransactions. Hell, God of War didn't even have any DLC. So there you go.
Right, and we do know that Spider-Man does have DLC, so I fast forward a little bit. We're going to get to the end of the show. I'm going to talk about the fact I beat it. There's DLC coming out the next 3 months until Spider-Man has finished its course. So thank goodness there's more content, and hopefully it's as good as what was in the game itself.
And that's one content a month.
Yes.
Thank goodness I got the digital deluxe, so I've already paid for all of it.
Yep.
My PlayStation came with the digital deluxe, so I'm good.
Nice. If you build the sandbox, they will come. Because you know what Spider-Man doesn't have? It doesn't have the asshole players on Overwatch. It doesn't have anybody fucking over your team. It doesn't have anybody teabagging people. It doesn't have anybody just being a douche and fucking over the other players. I so miss just playing a single-player game and not having to deal with anybody at all.
You know what Spider-Man doesn't have? Uncle Ben. Thank you, Sailor Poland.
That's not true. He's in the game. He's in the game. Yeah, you find... Well, I would assume the headstone's above the body, so he's there. You just don't dig him up, but he's there.
Well, also, in the very beginning of the game, is that a picture of his parents, or is that a picture of Aunt May and Uncle Ben together at the very first picture you see?
I thought it was Aunt May and Uncle Ben, but I could be wrong.
That's what I also think, too, but I can also see how it could be his parents as well.
I thought
it never specified.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be an old picture of his folks.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is.
Ben had gray hair, so I'm going to say it's Uncle Ben. And red hair from Aunt May, too. I'm just saying.
What it comes down to, though, is it was a phenomenal game. It goes to continue to show that if you make a good single-player game, not a crap one, because people will start touting these other games like, well, this is single-player and it didn't sell, and I'll be like, well, it's probably crappy. If you make a game that people want that's really good, they're going to buy it. And in fact, I wager to bet the sales numbers for Spider-Man over the first month are probably going to be ridiculous.
No Grand Theft Auto 5 ridiculous, but still ridiculous.
Well, that's because GTA 5 is out on every console. In fact, wasn't it on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 before it went to PS4 and Xbox One?
Yeah, because they weren't out yet at the time. It came out for 360 and PS3 first, and then it got released for the PC, and then I think the PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not sure if it came out at the same time with the PC with those.
I think it was a little after, but regardless, that's on 5 systems. So it's numbers.
You can't compare a PS4 exclusive to something that came out on 5 systems.
Well, we're also talking about it made how much money in just with the 360 and PS3 release?
Yeah, exactly.
By itself.
And then how many people went and rebought it so they could play it on their next console when they got it?
On the new system.
I'll be honest. I waited until I got my next gen console and then played it on there.
I saw a lot of people rebought that one though. They enjoyed it so much that I've never played the Grand Theft series.
Man,
I've never been a fan of those.
People are gonna buy them up. That and Red Dead. Yeah. I mean, how many people have bought multiple copies of Red Dead at this point in time? Probably because
I finally picked up a copy for PS3. I haven't started it yet, but I own it.
Yeah,
I only played it the one time.
I haven't played it yet, but I got it.
My fiance, that's one of the games that she loves. She's played through it multiple times. I'm pretty sure she already has her pre-order in to pick up Red Dead 2 when it comes out, like a little over a month from now. I want to say like 5 weeks or so, but it's coming out soon. I'm not much into the Western genre. It's a really good game, but I don't like Western gameplay that much.
She's played through it multiple times?
Oh, yeah. When you give her an RPG or an in-depth open world game like that, she'll play it through it a ton. You don't even want to know how many times she's gone through the Mass Effect series. It's almost as many as me, and she started playing it 5 years ago.
Wow.
Is it still disappointing when she ends on 3?
Well, she never got to see the original cut. She got it with the extended cut, so it's slightly less disappointing.
Slightly is the key word there.
Oh, that's so sad.
Is it?
Welcome to Slightly Less Disappointed.
It's still
new podcast name.
There you go.
That's a new game name from BioWare.
I don't know. Anthem should be good. We'll have to wait and see what comes of it. Right now, I've got so much other shit. I'm not even worried about pre-ordering that one.
We're all going to get it on the PS4, right?
So we can play together, right, Chris?
We'll talk
right, Chris?
That means I have to get PlayStation Plus, and I don't have that either. You guys are costing me money.
You don't need it right now.
You guys are costing me money right now.
For what you're doing, you don't need it right now at all.
I know. I've
like
got
we
so
can
many
still all
old
chat in
games
the party
to play.
chat.
I'll give you your first $10 for the first month.
And plus, the games you're going to be playing, you don't need it for it.
Exactly. All the games that I have bought, and we can touch on that at the end of the show, don't require it. But let's go talk about a successful game in Game Studio. And Willie, let's talk about one that's not quite as much.
Yeah, so some news is that Telltale Games is kaput. And, God, I've been saying... I first heard about the problems about them a long time ago from a Colin Moriarty, and I was like, after Susie said it, I was like, yeah, these games, why are they having such frame rate problems? Why is their engine chugging? It's not intensive at all. Like, I don't understand. And they're finally earlier in the year they announced that we're going to be redoing our engine and it's going to be starting with what was it? The Walking Dead new season?
It was right after The Walking Dead was what I had read. Is that
so it's
this
going to
would
be the Wolf Among Us Part 2. It's going to be the start of it.
Yeah. The Clementine series would end with the use of their current engine, and the next series would start the new Telltale engine.
And so it's going to start with the Wolf Among Us Part 2, or whatever they're going to name it. Which, well, it doesn't matter anymore because they're not going to rename it because it's not going to come out.
Oh.
Because, yeah, the studio's done. And, Jesus, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, Friday they called in. Friday they called a bunch of people in. They have 250 employees. They fired 225 of them on Friday. No severance pay, no notice. They're just out the door. The last 25 are hanging around to finish contractual obligations. And, Willie, those contractual obligations, they aren't any games we care about.
More than likely.
No, it is the Minecraft Netflix series they're finishing up.
Netflix?
There's a choose your own adventure like Netflix Minecraft thing that's being done. They're finishing that. So what they are not finishing is the final season of The Walking Dead. Episode 2 is supposed to come out this week, and then there's no more.
Oh, so they actually are releasing episode 2.
Supposedly, that's not been confirmed yet, but
Why?
it's basically done from what reports said, because it was supposed to ship next week. So who knows?
Uh-oh.
You're still here. We got you.
Yeah, I froze up a whole lot
Okay.
there, though. Or everyone else did. Yeah, so who in the right mind is going to buy episode 2 when there's not going to be the rest of the 3 episodes?
Here's the kicker, Willie.
Well,
You couldn't
some
buy
people
them an
already did.
episode at a time this time. You could only buy the entire season up front. So that should have been a warning sign to a lot of us. Because I bought the final season of The Walking Dead, in part because if you bought that, it gave you all of the other Telltale Walking Dead games for free, and I hadn't bought a bunch of them. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. But now I'm only going to get half the final story, and I'm really kind of annoyed. And supposedly people have started asking for refunds on like Steam and PlayStation Network and Xbox, and for the most part have been turned away because they're saying, oh, no, Telltale still tells us they're going to finish it. I'm like, with 25 employees, they ain't finishing shit. It's never going to get finished. They got $20 out of a lot of people, probably to give them a cash infusion to get them going forward, because again, couldn't buy each individual episode, had to buy them all at one time. But man, it sucks for the folks that worked there. It sucks for the people that bought from there. It's just not a good situation. And hopefully those folks all land on their feet somewhere.
But is it still the same way where you can't buy individual episodes? You said that's how it started. Is it still like that?
Walking Dead final season does not allow you to buy individual episodes. You either bought it all or none, is my understanding.
But you mentioned them getting new jobs. Well, I do have a silver lining. Ubisoft San Francisco, they put up a tweet. They said, hashtag Telltale Jobs, folks. Meet us Monday, 9/24 on the patio at BJ's in San Rafael, starting at 4:30 p.m. Let's talk about job opportunities over some drinks and food. Our treat. How nice is that? Ubisoft, you just got some good boy points. Come on, what? That's a great thing to do.
No, it's awesome. Sorry, I was typing a comment in the chat room, so I hadn't mentioned anything here. I think it's a great thing they're doing. I think you're going to see other companies that are putting out things under that hashtag to try and help these people find jobs, because there's some pretty talented folks that with no notice are out on the streets right now. And there's a lot of game developers out there that would probably try and hire them up, and hopefully will hire them up. But the way I was hearing, I can't remember, there's a couple different Telltale employees that were sharing stories on Twitter. Telltale kept hiring people. There were new hires that had just started this week that had like moved across the country, moved their families, and come over to San Francisco to work for Telltale, and then got laid off on Friday with everyone else. So it's nobody saw it coming realistically. Like, we all had our theories. It was like, man, Telltale's in trouble. There was the stories about Telltale having a lawsuit with the former CEO. There was all sorts of stuff coming out. It was going, man, this doesn't look good for Telltale, but I don't expect them to fold. They've got this big Walking Dead license.
The workers and the audience may not have expected it, but management should have known it was coming, and they should not have been fucking hiring people if they had even an idea that this might happen.
Well, and as Sailor Poland points out, in the chat, remember they had more than 400 employees over a year ago. So that was the first warning sign, is when Telltale fired 150 people. It's a sad thing. They made very interesting games that kind of took the world by storm. Remember, the whole Walking Dead game, there weren't a ton of people that were super excited about it until people started playing, and you're like, holy crap, this is really good. The first Walking Dead season is still a fantastic ride, but the problem is, once they started doing that, they took on too much work, which I think is part of the problem. And then B, everyone else saw that formula and started doing it themselves, arguably better, because I would argue that Life is Strange is better than most of the Telltale games I've played.
Oh yeah, and Until Dawn.
So it started a twist in the genre and made everyone up their game, and it's sad to see them go. I personally think part of their problem is the fact that they're putting out how many games a year instead of working on a new engine and things like that. If you've got that many people, how do you manage those projects, make everything move forward, and innovate to move forward? Because at one point they're putting out Guardians of the Galaxy and Batman in 1 year, with a Walking Dead game, I think. They were putting out 2 or 3 games a year, which all had 4 episodes each.
5.
Excuse me. My apologies. 5 episodes.
I mean, it's not that
Yeah, they were putting out a ton of content.
It's a shame to see them go. I really hope people do land on their feet. I've been following it on Twitter as employees have talked about it, as companies have talked about wanting to hire folks, as other employees at other game development studios have said, hey, reach out to me. We might have some jobs to folks. So hopefully people land on their feet. What I'm also hoping comes out of this is that someone comes up and buys out the IP and licenses, and they can continue the Walking Dead story, and they can continue to distribute the Telltale Games, because these licensing deals, once the current licensing deals are up with whatever remains of Telltale, it's possible that you might not be able to get them anymore. We've seen it happen with other games in the past when it comes to digital distribution and stuff, is when the deal runs out, you can't get it anymore. What was it, Alan Wake on the Xbox 360? They put out a digital copy of it, and because of music rights and things like that that had been negotiated, once the music ran out, they could no longer sell it for a while. I think they fixed the deal at this point.
Yeah. Oh, a big one I was thinking of was Ultimate Alliance 2 for the PS3.
Yeah.
Was it Activision? Yeah, Activision. When their thing ran out, you couldn't get any of the DLC. If you had like the disc version, you couldn't get any of the DLC for it or anything. You couldn't download it through. Pretty sure. I guess you could re-download it if you already had bought it. I never tested that theory because I never had it. But luckily, they fixed it all for the PS3 or PS4 versions of the 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah, they did the same for Xbox One version also, because you can buy them all there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. I think one of the cool conspiracy theories I had heard online is that they're like, hey, Microsoft's always talking about how they need more first-party stuff. Have them go in and buy up the guts of Telltale and start distributing and finishing up the series and potentially doing more. Who knows what's going to happen right now? I hope that they can find some way to at least finish the story of The Walking Dead, because that's my biggest annoyance right now, is I had to pay $20 up front, which was a promise that I'm going to get this full game, and I'm not. And yes, I don't want to make it sound like that's what I'm the most upset about. I'm upset that people lost their jobs, but a smaller bit of me is upset about the fact that I'm not going to get to finish the story that I've invested a lot of years into finding out what happens, and there's nothing. Even if you just give us the script outline for how it was going to end or something like that, please do that much. You might not be able to finish the game, but give us an idea of how Clementine's story ends.
Well, and this ain't Kickstarter. This is a company.
Yeah.
They promised a product, had you pay for it ahead of time, and now they are not delivering the product. How the fuck is there not a refund policy already in place?
I think what's happening here is the folks who distributed electronically, because I don't remember if it came out on disc at all, but the folks that are distributing electronically, say like Steam, PSN, Xbox, are waiting for the official notice from Telltale that, yeah, it's done. I don't think they've gotten official notice yet that the game is canceled, so they can't issue refunds, is my understanding of what's coming out from online. Now, I'm not an expert.
Make sense. That would make sense.
And speaking of, you mentioned some music being holding back for like the rights and stuff.
Yes.
That's probably why we're not going to see any Tony Hawk game on the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, entirely possible.
Definitely, because of the music.
Man, Tony Hawk 3 on the Dreamcast, that had like the best fucking soundtrack. Like, I would skate for hours not accomplishing anything because I was really just listening to the music.
And especially if they ever make a Dreamcast Classic, you can't have Crazy Taxi.
But they have put out Crazy Taxi on like cell phones and tablets and stuff, so there's some kind of that's a port.
They relicensed the music.
Okay, so
they had to relicense it. There's no way that the game owns that music to be put in, no matter what system it goes on.
Yeah,
there's no way.
As like Sailor Ploy put in the chat room too, that's why we don't see WKRP on official DVD. All the music that they played during that show.
It was why the Wonder Years took forever to come out again.
Yeah,
because of that. Because the Wonder Years was loaded with tons of music, and it was really good.
And it was loaded with the most expensive music from the 60s and 70s ever.
Yeah.
Like that might be the most pricey soundtrack in the history of television.
If you recut the Wonder Years without all that music in it, it's not the same show.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
But I got to get my Daniel Stern fix.
It's such a good show. I love that Winnie Cooper turned out to be a math genius.
What I really love is that Daniel Stern actually turned out to be Fred Savage's dad in Little Monsters when he was just playing himself. That was the best.
That was pretty fitting.
But God, licensed music. What? Why? Why is that the thing that's holding things back?
Because everyone wants their piece of the pie, Willie.
And because
God
when you
damn.
create music, you should get paid for it. People shouldn't just be able to steal it and use it.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I'm saying that's why it causes so many problems.
That's why when you listen to this podcast, it says the music is from Incompetech.com and by Kevin MacLeod, because I have to say that to be able to use his music.
how
Thank you,
much
Kevin
royalty-free music does he put out?
A crap load. Kevin MacLeod has a ton of royalty-free music he puts out. You just have to say that you have to give him proper attribution. Excuse me.
Fair enough. I can't. I'm going to agree with that.
Nope.
Thank you for doing that, sir. Thank you for doing that. I don't know. So everyone just keep your fingers crossed for Telltale employees and for the customers also, that we get some kind of resolution to figure out what happened. The employees are obviously the more important part. Please don't misconstrue my words back. I want my game, damn it. Screw everyone else. Because that's not the case.
Pretty sure that's what Chris said.
Screw you.
He wants his game, damn it.
What? I mean, I still do, but I'd rather those guys find jobs.
Excuse me.
But that's what, Willie, did you have anything else you want to talk about on Telltale?
You fucked up.
How'd I fuck up?
Not you, Telltale.
Telltale fucked.
The royal you.
Yeah, they really did. It's such a shame too. But like we said, we're all about revisionist history. But you could see the writing on the walls. We'd all been going, man, Telltale's in trouble. Hopefully they can pull out of it.
Like 3 years ago, they should have been fixing this. 4 years ago, they should have been fixing this.
They should have rolled out a new engine years ago. It shouldn't have been predicated on finishing this last game.
I mean, at the very least, when the new generation of consoles came out, they should have worked on a brand new engine.
Yep. There's no reason why a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X should be dropping frames on a Telltale game.
Especially a Telltale game. How intensive is it?
Yeah. When I can run on either of those games at native 4K, buttery smooth, and I can't run something at 1080p, that's a problem.
Let's look at Spider-Man and let's look at Walking Dead.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, one of those should be way more lag heavy or lag spiky than the other one, and one of them runs smooth as butter.
I don't care how many people worked on it, how much money they had on it. You had this equipment to work on. How many people worked on Doom 2? And look how buttery smooth that worked back in the day on those PCs.
Well, that's because it was optimized fairly well. I mean, and here's the other thing. I'm not a developer, but I don't know what kind of trouble it is. The fact they're trying to make something that supports an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Nintendo Switch, a tablet, a cell phone, iOS and Android variants of it. So they're trying to build an application in a game that runs across multiple platforms, which is probably difficult. But if you're going to make it run on a cell phone, which is far less hardware intensive than one of the super consoles of nowadays, I don't understand.
Your argument I would give you last generation with the PS3 and 360, because those were wildly different. But
Fair.
now both Xbox One and PS4, they're both pretty much PCs. They're built to be like PCs, pretty much.
That's fair.
Like to be similar to be, developing for.
Yeah.
It should be much easier, but it's not. We'll just have to keep our eyes open, see what happens in the future going forward. Fingers crossed that everything turns out all right, or at least the employees get jobs, because that's the biggest important thing. But I think we've knocked this into the ground unless anyone else has any final thoughts on Telltale. Going once, twice.
You fucked up again.
There you go. Anthony, wrap us up on news. What do you got for
I'd
us?
say you're fucked up a second time.
I got good news and bad news. So there has been there was a warning shot a while ago, and now we have first images. They are moving forward with a Child's Play reboot. So of course, as we all know, for every one executive in Hollywood that has an original idea, like Jason Blum, there's 10 to 50 executives that wouldn't have an original idea if their fucking life depended on it. And so they rehash, they reboot, they remake. And I wanted to check to see the important factors. And the two most important factors in this one is that Don Mancini and Brad Dourif are not involved at all. You're not getting the voice of Chucky, and you're not getting the guy who's written all 7 films. These motherfuckers made it to 7. Do you realize that fucking Chucky has been around that long? You got Child's Play 1, 2, and 3, Bride of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. They made it to 7 fucking films about a killer doll.
Yeah, how many of them are good?
All of them. I love them all. Child's Play is amazing.
Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky.
They leaned in. It was the same thing that happened with the Nightmare on Elm Streets, where when they found out that Freddy was a little bit comedic, they leaned into that comedy and made some of those movies really bad. But Chucky, they did almost the exact same thing where they leaned into it, but the comedy was so much more inherent because it's a fucking toy. It's a tiny doll murdering people, and Brad Dourif, he leaned into it as well and just went nuts with the character and made it a fucking blast. I love the movies because they don't take themselves seriously. They know they're a fucking laugh riot, and they're great. But the upside is they released the image of the new doll, and it doesn't look bad. It is a very updated version. It doesn't look like the round-faced cherub version of the good guy originally. And if anything, I don't like the fact that they try to make the doll look a little creepy, because that's not the point. The doll should look happy and then become creepy when it tries to murder people. But there is a couple upsides. Aubrey Plaza is set to star in it from Legion. So Aubrey makes good shit. Every movie I've seen her in, I've enjoyed. So, excuse me.
Isn't that the same one from Parks and Rec?
Yeah. She's playing the mom that gives her son the evil doll in question.
You go straight to Legion with her, not Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I had to go on Parks and Rec.
On the article, that's what they have next to her name is Legion.
Oh, Jesus.
And honestly, I love her acting in Legion because she did some serious acting. She only played one character on Parks and Rec. She's played 9 on Legion. She's fucking Fred is awesome. But yeah, so there's other bad notices in here. Fucking see, where is it? It's going with MGM's rebooting it. See, the film only has just begun production this week, with Norwegian director Lars Klevberg calling shots from a screenplay by Sleeping Dogs and Quantum Break video game writer Tyler Burton Smith. A video game writer?
Have you played Quantum Break, though? It's basically a TV show built around a video game, rather.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah, it even has live action with Iceman in it.
Yeah, and Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Littlefinger's a good actor.
Who played Iceman?
One of those twins. I can't remember their names.
One of the Ashmores. Is it Sean Ashmore?
Ashmore. I was thinking Aston for some reason.
Ashmore, yeah. So they've got all that in there, and then the one up when they were talking about it said the voice actor for the new Chucky is yet to be found. It's already been reported that Dourif won't be reprising the role for the Child's Play reboot, which sucks, because Brad Dourif is fucking Chucky the same way that Robert Englund is Freddy and fucking Kane Hodder is Jason. No one else has ever been the voice of Chucky. Charles Lee Ray is fucking Brad Dourif.
Excuse me, boys. I gotta leave now. I gotta go to Hollywood to be a voice actor.
You're gonna try to be a voice actor?
Yeah, damn right. Chucky's
that
here.
was probably the most disappointing part, is seeing that he's not going to be involved, because he is the voice of Chucky and has done it so well for so long, which means we're either going to get someone trying to do a Chucky impersonation, which, or is someone going to try to do an original take on it, which, flip a coin. It could either be great or it could be god awful. There's usually no in between when it comes to reboots. But the upside was, as they said, the actor and Mancini are instead focusing their efforts on getting a Child's Play TV series off the ground and running for Universal, the studio that holds the rights to everything except the first movie. So apparently Brad Dourif and Dan Mancini aren't involved because they're working on doing a Child's Play TV show. And so the best news about the reboot movie is that we might get a TV show from the guys who actually know how to make Chucky. So I'm happy that I'm excited there might be a TV show.
Depends on what
this is starting to sound like Kevin Smith right now. I'm going to do a movie. Now I'm going to do a TV show. Now I'm going to do a movie again of these same people, and it doesn't.
Well, this is two separate groups of people working separately, though. So I mean, it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, I bet we don't get either of them.
It's going on Sci-Fi. I'm sorry, Sci-Fi.
Siffy.
Yeah. If it ends up being a Siffy show, I will probably not be watching it. Though I have to say, the second season of Van Helsing showed up on Netflix, and it's goddamn fun. It's ridiculously entertaining, and Misty Peregrine showed up. My favorite show is Misty Peregrine always shows up, and I fucking love her. She is a badass. And on this one, she plays Vanessa Van Helsing's twin sister, and she's a wicked, wicked fucking vampire-slaying badass bitch. She's so cool. But yeah, so we might be getting a new Chucky movie. We're probably getting a new Chucky movie, and we might be getting a TV show. honestly, either way, I'm going to watch both. If they come out, I'm going to see them at some point. I don't know if I'll pay money in the theater to see a Chucky reboot, but I'm interested to see what they'll do with it, because apparently they can the original idea, which I'm really helpful for, because the original idea was supposed to be like a post-traumatic stress group that was being introduced to a high-end, high-tech new doll that for some odd reason that doll went insane. And it's like, yeah, Chucky doesn't need tech. Like, it should just be a doll that becomes a killer. That's like the whole point.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah, it's supposed to be voodoo. Like, that's the whole point, is it's some shit you can't explain. Yeah, so apparently, the original script idea was talking about something about some high-end, high-tech toy, or like they're bringing a Furby to life and making it a killer. It's like, that sounded so much worse. But yeah, this just sounds like the old original story from Child's Play 1 of a mom gives a toy to a kid, not knowing what has happened to the doll. Doll goes nuts, kills the babysitter, tries to kill the mom and the kid. So it could be good. And yeah, Aubrey Plaza has been fucking kicking ass as an actress lately, so I'm definitely excited to see. It'll be weird to see her as a mom type character in a movie, because even now, like, she doesn't seem like she's really old enough to start playing moms in Hollywood. But then again, she is over 24, so I guess at this point they start thinking that she's old. But yeah, Aubrey Plaza kicks ass, so that alone will probably get me in the theater to watch it, even, or maybe not the theater. It might be a Netflix.
I'm sorry. I'm in the South. A 24-year-old can have a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
I mean, but yeah, that's all I had. New Child's Play coming.
I mean, the only good thing that came out of Bride of Chucky is it brought in, my crush, Jennifer Tilly.
Oh yeah, Tiff.
You guys need
love me some Tiff. Hand check.
I'm holding my mic, so you know instantly.
Well, that and the fact that Jennifer Tilly even played Jennifer Tilly in one of the Chucky movies, I mean, goddamn.
Isn't she playing poker professionally now?
Yeah, she's done actually. Yeah, apparently she's really fucking good at it, which it makes sense. She carries two big ass distractions to the table with her, so
I don't think that really matters to poker players.
Oh, for some of them it does, because she's done really well. So
I was gonna make the joke, but I pulled myself back from it, so I'm glad I didn't have to.
No, I'm pretty sure I even saw an episode of Poker Stars at Night where she was joking about the fact that she distracts players, because she also has that very specific voice. When she talks, like, no one sounds like Jennifer Tilly. And she's gorgeous, a fucking gorgeous woman. I would have trouble concentrating on the cards in my hand if I was sitting across the table from her. You know you would.
What are we talking about?
Jennifer Tilly.
That's fair.
Which is what you were thinking about.
That does wrap up our news of the week. But before we start wrapping up the show, we did not talk about one other thing that we probably should. If you guys missed it, Captain Marvel trailer dropped this week. And I don't think we need to go in and dissect it or anything like that. But more general impressions. What'd you guys think? Did you like it? Do you want more? Were you underwhelmed? Willie, you look like you got thoughts.
Best old woman punching scene I have ever seen out of Hollywood.
Worst marketing decision ever.
What are you talking about? Everyone's talking about it.
That's... fact that there's nothing in the trailer that mentions shapeshifters, and they show your first female superhero in the Marvel Universe getting her lead movie. In the first trailer, you have a punch an old woman on a bus.
I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not as bad as the people I saw that were like, I literally counted every word said in that trailer, and Samuel L. Jackson got 67, and Brie Larson only got 30. Oh, yeah. This is bullshit. I'm like, well, he was narrating the trailer. So, yeah, he got more words. He's narrating.
Oh, yeah, and fuck the people that said that Brie Larson should smile. Did you see her response?
No, I didn't see her response, but I thought it was bullshit.
She went through and took a bunch of the Captain America and Thor photos and put big fucking grins on them and made them look absolutely ridiculous. Like, here, you want your superheroes to smile? Here's fucking Chris Evans smiling. Here's fucking Mark Ruffalo smiling. Here's fucking Hemsworth smiling. She's like, look how fucking ridiculous they look. Kiss my ass. Yeah, it was awesome. She instantly responded with Photoshop. Brie Larson kicks ass.
So I saw the trailer. I didn't get to see it until I got home from work that day. It did what it needed to. It was a teaser. It teased me enough to go, okay, I was going to see this movie anyways. There's some cool scenes in it, some stuff I wanted to see. There was nothing that made like my jaw drop or anything like that. But I don't expect that from Marvel teaser trailers anymore. Yeah. I don't. I expect them to kind of wet the palate a little bit, like, hey, here's a taste of what's coming, and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Seeing young Samuel L. Jackson and young Coulson, that was cool. Getting to see Captain Marvel kicking some ass in there, that was cool too. And I'm not one of those people that's upset by the old lady punching scene, because I think it did exactly what they wanted, which is people are talking about and going, what the hell's going on here, and speculating and trying to figure out.
I did see something that also triggered somebody too. There was a tweet sent out saying, so Samuel L. Jackson had, I forget how many words. I tried to find, I couldn't find it again.
It was 60 some odd.
It had 60-some words in it, and Brie Larson only has, 17, I think they said.
Something like that.
Yeah, the main
literally
star...
just talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, continue.
No.
I want your take on it, so please continue.
Yeah, and then someone just responded like, "Oh, so a person of color can't have words in a trailer?"
Oh yeah. They instantly went the opposite way on it. You can't win. Yeah, the only reason I don't like the old lady punching thing is because it's the comic book audience knows exactly what's happening in that scene. The general public has no fucking clue, and it looks like you're introducing your first female superhero that's leading a movie in Marvel, and having her abuse an elderly person. Which just seems so fucking wrong.
The tweet in question, because I quoted it with my comment on Twitter, I had to find it. It was, in the first Captain Marvel trailer, Samuel L. Jackson's character has 67 words. Brie Larson's character, i.e. Captain Marvel, has 33. Come on, Marvel. What? It's a teaser. Yeah. He's narrating. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, he's the narrator. She basically crashed on Earth and apparently appears to have some type of fucking memory loss. So she's trying to figure out who she is, where she is, and what's going on.
It's like what Sailor Paulin set up above.
Be more mysterious.
It's like what Sailor Paulin set up above. It's Marvel's version of the Bourne Identity.
As the Bourne Identity with nuke fucking planet leveling powers. Yeah, I wanted to find the tweet from Kelly Sue DeConnick though, because that was my favorite part of it. Because it looks awesome when you see her charge up, it's fantastic. When you finally see her at the end of the trailer, and you see her full body, just energy fucking filling up like she's gonna explode. But we get to see Jude Law as Marvel. I love the fact you get to see the space team that she joins in the green and blue outfits, and then you get to see her crash to Earth. You get to see the blue and red outfit. So you get an idea of the course of the movie without it really giving up any of the storyline. But then it has the flashes to the memories where it shows her as a little girl getting knocked down. It shows her falling in boot camp. It shows her as Captain Marvel getting knocked down. And every time you see her stand back up and make the fist. And that part I love because Kelly Sue DeConnick, who, if you guys don't know, is the writer of what has become the most popular Captain Marvel books lately. She's kind of the character she's the writer that turned that character around, made her kind of like a feminist icon and just an overall badass, and wrote some really good stories. Most of the current popularity of Captain Marvel is due to Kelly Sue DeConnick. And when she was on Twitter talking about the trailer, she said Carol falls down all the time, but she always gets back up. We say that about Captain America as well, but Captain America gets up because it's the right thing to do. Carol gets back up because fuck you. And I thought that was the best answer ever. This is a woman that's not going to stay down because fuck you. I'm not staying down. That's a badass hero. Oh yeah. When I read that, I was like, that's so fucking perfect, and it fits so well. I love Kelly Sue DeConnick. If you're not reading her comics, just go check her out on Twitter. She writes so many books, and I've enjoyed every damn one of them. She's a fantastic, fantastic writer.
There's some good stuff out there. And credit also to Sailor Paulin. One last point on the word disparity in the trailer. Stated, also, not many know who Captain Marvel is. Nick Fury is our viewpoint character to introduce her to us. Yeah. So people getting upset over the word count in a teaser trailer, calm down. If the whole movie was that way, where Samuel L. Jackson's on screen and talks more than Captain Marvel, then you could have an issue, and I would say that's fair. But for a teaser trailer that is 90 seconds of footage that may or may not even be in the movie itself, because Marvel doesn't always use trailer footage in the movies, we can calm down. It's okay.
That one old lady punch spoke more words than the entire script will ever do.
Yes.
As I love the fact that she crashes in a blockbuster, which totally sets the time period. You know exactly when this movie is happening. And then I laughed so hard at the idea when Sam Jackson says, I was getting ready to retire until I met you. Motherfucker. He's gone through so much shit since then. The idea that he was going to retire before he met Captain Marvel is fucking hilarious. It's I was going to go to retirement and go fishing.
Well, it's got a lot of people now theorizing that he's a Skrull going forward, but we will wait and see on that one. Who knows?
Back to the Blockbuster. It gave me flashbacks of late fees.
So one last thing I want to talk about before we get off of this into the what I'm into segment and everything else. Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out soon, so a lot of the game journalists have had a chance to go and play the game, and there were 2-day visits that folks did do in-depth write-ups. From Kotaku, there was an interesting quote that I wanted to read to you guys because I'm sure it's really going to interest you about the details and the detailed plan that goes into this game. Here's the quote. I was told that horses come in various breeds and you can bond with them and learn new skills, like a dramatic skid stop or a dressage sidestep. After seeing the game's first trailer, we and others had wondered if the horse's testicles were animated. I asked and they told me the testicles shrank and expand depending on the temperature in the game world. Details.
Holy shit.
Those are details
Wow.
you not necessarily needed.
Kotaku asking the hard-hitting questions of whether the horse testicles grow or shrink in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow.
The question should be shocking enough, but the answer...
Yes, that's what makes it even more interesting. Can you imagine?
Interesting.
Can you imagine being that kid who gets a job to work at Rockstar in Red Dead Redemption? And you're like, yeah, this is hot shit. You tell your parents, and they're like, so what'd you do in Red Dead Redemption? I animated the horse testicles.
I animated horse testicle sacks, and they're shrinking and growing.
I had to go to a farm, and I took the temperature of the ball sack, and yeah, they grow and they shrink just like a man.
I had to take video for reference of horse testicles shrinking.
So we're making this a punchline. It is kind of interesting from the standpoint of the details that Rockstar considers in games that you wouldn't think they would consider, including horse testicles. Who would have thunk it?
I do want to take this time to make a PSA. Women of the world, shrinkage is an issue.
The more you know.
And there are, and also a little caveat to that, there are growers and there are showers. So don't be sad until you see it fully out there.
Well,
But then if you're sad, keep it to yourself.
I try to.
I sit there and put in the chat room, hey, it's not like they're the woman who had to jerk off a dolphin for government research. So they
No
got
one
that
had
going
to.
for 'em.
She wanted to.
Ew. So
No
Willie,
one takes that job unless they want to.
so Willie, now that you know about the animated horse testicles, does that make you more likely to get Red Dead Redemption 2?
Not day one. I can wait on these shrinking testicles.
That's the best answer ever, not day one.
He's like, well, I don't have to have it the moment it comes out, but I'm going to
I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be full price for like 5 years.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. There's no way this game has any kind of drop other than maybe like a Black Friday $10 off or something like that.
No, that's just Rockstar's MO.
Yeah, they keep it at full price until it becomes a greatest hits and they sell their 1 million copies and they can drop it at $20.
Well, no, then they'll just do a Game of the Year edition with all the DLC for $50
Well, yeah.
after a couple years down the line. I don't know if there's DLC or not in Red Dead Redemption
Well,
2.
Grand
assume
Theft
there
Auto
is.
4 had DLC. Grand Theft Auto 5 had no DLC. It
That's
just had the
because it has-
microtransactions
Yeah, microtransactions where they're making bank.
for the online, which did not release with the game on release day, just like Red Dead Redemption will not have its online mode till after it releases.
It's Rockstar, though. I think if anything we've learned, we can trust that when it comes out, it'll be right. I'm not a huge GTA Online person. I've played it a little bit, but it's all right.
It was not all right when it first got released.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't play it when it first came out. I didn't get to it until I didn't buy the game until it'd been out for a few years, so I missed the initial run.
Fair enough.
So what do I know? Actually, I
think
do
I
know
still
what I
have-
know.
I have Red Dead waiting to play after I finish Prototype 2. So it's on the list.
It's on the list. You know what else is on the list? All of the other
Your
great
gifts?
podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network. There's a list of them. You can go over to GonnaGeek.com, click on the network button. There's a huge list of all these podcasts. I can't tell you about all of them, but what I can say is we're one of many. And each week we try to highlight one other show on the network and say, hey, you guys might want to go check this podcast out. And we'll give you a little taste of it and say, hey, you guys are going to love this one. So, Willie, what show are we telling folks about this week and what's going on that show?
This week, I will be talking about the Intellectual Podcast, episode 225. Mark Christopher Lawrence. Oh, good old Chuck will chat with David and Whitney about his 4-decade career as an actor and comedian. From his days growing up in Compton to his time as Big Mike on the hit TV series Chuck. Mark is honest, funny, and very insightful in his views on succeeding in the business. It's a conversation you don't want to miss. And back to you, sir, gentlemen. Chris.
Why, thank you. So go check out episode 225 of the Intellectual Podcast where they talk to Mark Christopher Lawrence. It's a good listen, especially if you're a fan of Mark Christopher Lawrence. I really did enjoy it. So check it out for yourselves. You guys are going to love it. But we are starting to get close to wrapping up the show. Guys, I forgot to bring up one thing in this show. I'm going to mention it here just so we remember to talk about it next week, so hopefully someone reminds me of it. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the first pictures and makeup tests. We need to talk about that next week. I don't want to do hot takes on it, but because the internet's full of them. Just
we ain't got shit to talk about it yet.
Yeah, I think we're all avoiding it on purpose because
I don't know. The new ones I saw that had him in like the purple suit weren't so bad. And Sailor Poland's asking, no one talking about the bat penis? Anyone want a clue what the bat penis is for everyone?
The only comic I read is Nightwing. No, apparently Bruce Wayne's cock showed up on a page of one of the new Batman comics.
It's Batman Damned, I think it is, or The Damned or something like that.
Everybody lost
what
their mind.
about the comics code?
Well, it's an
code
adult.
hasn't been a thing in 20 years.
Yeah, it's an adult book, so it was never geared towards kids, so people are freaking out. But yes, you can find out whether the Dark Knight is circumcised or not if you want.
Well, is Batawang.
Wait,
yeah, apparently, it's in the book where it's the book where Batman, the Joker finally dies, and it's a question of, I guess the question is whether or not Batman actually killed him.
Excuse me, I got to go to Google right quick to find out about this circumcision details.
You have fun with that,
Good
Willie.
luck, Willie. You can find out. And DC did say they're going to edit it out of all the future digital versions, and any second printings and things like that will no longer have the Batawang in it. So now all the scalpers are picking up the first run issues to scalp them on the secondary market.
Yeah, which will just make the first issue be worth so much more.
It's not like this is the first time we've seen a comic in a penis in comics. I mean, you guys did read Watchmen, right? There's a floppy dong throughout the entire movie and comic.
Yeah, and at one point it's like 80 feet long.
Yeah.
He is cut and he is a shower.
Thank you, Willie, for sharing that hard-hitting news with us as we wrap the show up.
I'm glad I don't have that in my search
around all damn day.
I'm glad I don't have that in my search history.
Oh, it's right here.
No.
No, it's too bright. You can't see it. It's only on my camera because you can see it on my camera. You got penis right here on this bright screen.
You don't want to see the Batawang?
No,
look, it's right there. Bat penis. It's coming in and out your face.
Nope.
Don't you feel like Catwoman?
Ah, there we go. I clicked on Chris's screen, so now your screen won't even go up on mine. You can't see it, Willie.
See it. You can see it in the bottom thing.
Nope.
So there are two panels I see with his bat dick.
Yes, there are.
So big it needed two panels
of the Batawang.
Yeah, it looks like he's just stripping out of the clothes as soon as he gets out the bat car.
It's something that got overhyped. That's all that really came out of it in my mind. Whatever. Who cares? Someone's naked and they didn't creatively hide everything. It's weird and whatnot. Just get over it. We're all grown-ups.
Someone got paid to draw this dick.
Yeah, that was one of the things I thought that was funny is someone tweeted at Greg Capullo on Twitter like, "You're just jealous you didn't get to draw the first bat penis," and he sent a laughing emoji back to them.
Somebody got paid to write the description of "and Batman steps out naked. Yes, draw the dick."
It's was it Brian Azzarello? I think that's what Sarah Paul said in the chat
yeah.
room. Says it's just me or is Az oddly focused on Batman's sex. So my assumption is it's Azzarello. I don't know. It is time for us to start wrapping up the show, though. And how we do that is a little segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into so that maybe, just maybe, you'll want to check them out yourself. Anthony, kick us off. What have you been getting into?
Spider-Man. All the Spider-Mans. I unlocked all of my suits Saturday and then finished banging my head against the wall in the last couple of Taskmaster challenges just to realize that I hadn't actually gone back to Otto's lab and finished the very last spectrum analysis and circuit boards that aren't unlocked until the third act. And so there was an achievement for finishing those. So I actually got my very first platinum ever on the PlayStation Network for finishing Spider-Man, and I did it in the lab as Peter Parker by doing science. It wasn't fucking in a fight. It wasn't beating a villain. Look at my very first platinum ever for finishing everything in a game was for making spectrogram analysis to figure out chemicals inside of a lab to help Doc Ock make a better suit. Which I love the fact that the picture is just Peter in the lab in civilian clothes, out of costume. It was awesome. Yeah, so I finally finished it, and then I spent roughly an hour just swinging around, stopping crimes, and just having a blast in the game and playing with the other suits. But yeah, I got my very first platinum, so I'm stoked, and I honestly probably don't really care if I ever get another one. I got the one I wanted, and so I have the best Spidey ever. And now at some point I'll replay the game on normal because I played the whole thing on easy just for fun. And yeah, you can do all the unlocks, get all the achievements, and get all the trophies on easy mode and still get the platinum. You don't have to play the game on hard. So yeah, it was a blast. I love that fucking game. It's so much fun to just web swing around. And then because I was done with that, my buddy invited me to do a couple of matches of Overwatch last night. So I did about 2 matches of that and then convinced him to start playing Dead by Daylight because fuck the other people on Overwatch, and people just suck. And on a team of 6x6, there's just too many chances to get a douchebag on your team. And so yeah, after we won 4 out of 7 matches, went over and fucking started playing some Dead by Daylight and started teaching my buddy Maya about that game. And yeah, it's kind of fun listening to somebody else have trouble with the skill checks. When you first start playing Dead by Daylight, the skill checks are a huge pain in the ass. And having somebody else on the map that's blowing a generator every 10 seconds and it's not me is so much more fun than it was when it was me. So watching him go through the learning curve, it sucks and it's painful, but it's so much more fun now that I'm not the worst player in the game. So it was a good start. We did what was it, 7 or 8 matches, Willie?
Oh yeah, I joined in on that too.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. And just remember, same thing as running from a bear. You don't have to be the fastest runner. You have to be faster than the slowest runner.
I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you. Yeah, so we had some fun. I think we only won 1 match with Maya last night, but he learned, he learned quite a bit and got, started getting a hang of how to move the characters around the map, what each killer does, and the fact that there's so many killers now. I don't think he still only faced maybe half the killers last night after 7 or 8 matches. So there's a lot to learn in that game because every killer is so different. And because each different person has different perks and different abilities, it's a ton of information to wrap your head around when you first start playing it. So yeah, we had some fun. We had some good jokes and some laughs and some shitty people joining us that DC'd the first time they got put on a hook because they suck. But yeah, I think we had a fairly enjoyable couple of matches, except Michael. That Michael Myers match sucked ass. Fucking Mikey. He's such a prick. Yeah, basically I've just been playing video games. Oh, and I did finish the first season's worth of first place and second place art pieces for the Fantasy Comic League. So I got those ready to be mailed out. I'm waiting to get an address from somebody so I can actually do what is now last season's winners. And yeah, so I can start on the new ones, which will be a little bit smaller so that hopefully I can get them done a lot sooner and be out and mailed before this season is done so I can be working on the current season as they're going. So yeah, get ready to start the 2 new ones this week. I think Robert C. Young and who is it? It was wife of the league, Brian's wife. Why can't I not think of her name? Damn it. But I think it was Lenny. Lenny Rocks and Brian C. Young were the 2 that won last season. So they get 2 free color commissions of any Marvel character of their choice for being the 2 highest scorers in the league. And then Brian put out all the points. He combined all the last 2 seasons, and if I had somehow was able to put those 2 points together, I outscored everybody if you add the last 8 months together. So apparently I just need an 8-month-long season, and then I'll win. But I scored enough points for 3rd place the first season, and then 2nd place the second season. So added together, I beat everybody. But yeah. And for the individual seasons, I didn't fucking win anything. So that sucks.
Sucks, dude.
New season's going well, though. I got Spider-Man and Captain Marvel, so I have a feeling I'm going to be doing okay by the time the end of the month rolls around and I get my Jamie Madrox points for the last issue of, or for the second to last issue of Multiple Man, which the Multiple Man miniseries has been goddamn ridiculous. In the 4th issue, they tell you the second part of the time traveling stuff that happens in the first issue, where you're now seeing it through the second character's perspective. So you know which Jamie came back in time to start the time loop that tells this whole story, and it hurts your mind a little bit because you have multiple copies of Multiple Man and they're time traveling. And so when you add time travel to a guy that can duplicate himself, it makes shit really confusing. And Matthew Rosenberg wrote the hell out of it. It's a fun book. I'm excited to see how it ends. But yeah, that's what I've been getting into.
So I'm glad you mentioned the Fantasy Comic League. I'm in second place right now, all on the power of Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel, because my team of the Marvelous Spiders, aka Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, Ms. Marvel, and Marvel Girl, only 2 out of those 4 characters are doing anything right now. Marvel Girl and Scarlet Spider have done jack crap with 1 week left to go. My hope is this week they actually hit it up a notch. But regardless, if I take second place, it means I can keep Spider-Man next month.
Nice, yep.
Second place is almost better than first right now.
Yep, my goal is second to keep Parker. Yeah, you got what I wanted, because I got Parker and Captain Marvel. I wanted to have Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. If I'd have had those 3, I'm pretty sure it would have guaranteed first. So it's probably a good idea I didn't get them.
Ms. Marvel was Hero of the Week. That's why I moved up to second place, because she got a crap load of points.
She beat Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In the first month or the first week where he had 4 books on the shelf. Yeah. She still outscored him. Like, that's insane.
That is insane indeed. So I've got that going for me in the Fantasy Comic League. Some other stuff I've been getting into. I did beat Spider-Man the story last night. The story is awesome. Yay! I can't wait to see where they go. It is totally set up for a sequel, so please just announce the sequel. Let me know when it's coming out so that I can prepare myself for it. I imagine we don't find anything out about that until after the DLC's out, but I could be wrong.
More than likely.
They're definitely going to make a sequel, though. It made enough money, and it's so good, there's no reason that they don't. So I will probably take a break and then go back and do some completionism stuff, I do have some other games to play. I picked up the Uncharted collection, so that's Uncharted 1 through 3. Picked up Uncharted 4 because it was less than $10 on sale. And then I also have Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and No Man's Sky to play. So I've got a bunch of different PlayStation exclusive stuff I'm going to dabble around in. I'm probably going to play Uncharted next because everyone keeps swearing by those.
Just a little curious, were those Kingdom Hearts games, are they exclusive to PlayStation?
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I believe, were.
Well, I know the original ones, but they didn't, when they re-put them out for the HD collection, they didn't put them on Xbox?
Not as far as I know, no.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Not that I've ever seen on Xbox. Now, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out on all the consoles.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I knew that.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I don't believe the remasters came out that way. So I've been playing a bunch of video games. I've also been watching The Rock's TV show on HBO called Ballers. I'm getting caught up on that. I think I'm about 3 episodes behind, but it's delightful because who doesn't like to see The Rock on TV enjoying himself? It's a ton of fun. If you're not watching it, go check it out. It's enjoyable, especially if you like sports, because they play around in the world of sports agents and sports marketing and sports finance. But The Rock's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But the best sports management show ever, Arliss.
He just won't quit bringing up Arliss. I don't get it.
Robert Wool is a goddamn national treasure.
So what?
He was fucking in the first Batman with Tim Burton.
And?
That's all I got.
Oh, right. And Suncast mentioned it on here. He finished The League. I've been rewatching The League because it's one of my favorite TV shows that was on. For those that aren't aware, it's about a bunch of friends that play fantasy football together and the hijinks that come up around it. And those hijinks get progressively more ridiculous as the series goes on. It's delightful. I know, Anthony, you watched The League, didn't you?
Oh, I've watched The League all the way through 4 times.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 times for me. It's still delightful.
When I started watching it, they were finishing, I think, the 4th or 5th season. I watched it all the way through. And then every time they would do a new season and they'd put it on Netflix, I would start over from episode 1. Because that show is so good, you don't just go watch the new episode. You watch the whole fucking show again. And it's goddamn amazing.
It's absolutely hilarious. Yeah. Sadly, it's not on Netflix anymore, I don't believe. So I had caught it when it was on Vudu. I bought the entire series for like $20 on Vudu. So I always have the digital copy on there now. It's hilarious if you like sports or even have a passing interest in sports and fantasy football. It's hilarious the kind of arguments and stuff they get into and how football's peripherally related.
Yeah, you don't have to know anything about sports to enjoy The League.
Some of the jokes land better if you understand football.
That is true. Some of the jokes land better. They're talking about Adrian Peterson's calves.
Yeah. And
he's just railing your ex-girlfriend.
Vinegar strokes forever.
Yeah, for those that don't have love for The League, a mighty suck it.
Yeah.
It's the best fucking show ever. Forever unclean.
The League is hilarious. So if you get a chance, go and watch it. Suncast had mentioned he had finished it, and I enjoyed it, so I'm sure he did as well. So Willie, I hate to say this, but wrap it up for us, because you're going to end everything here.
No, you're getting it all raw, buddy.
Oh.
So, I just want to mention this since it was announced. Give my little 2 cents about it. The PlayStation Classic.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah, good call.
I'm just going to throw down some goods and bads. The good, it comes with 2 controllers. Why, Nintendo? You have 2-player games on your shit. Why are you having... Yeah, you just want more money, so selling controllers by themselves, whatever.
Well, they did do that on the SNES Classic, at least.
Well, whatever. I didn't pay attention enough for that. The bad about the controllers is they're not DualShock controllers. What the fuck? So now you can't have Ape Escape or anything that uses, twin sticks on it. That's a fail. You showed off some games that come for it, but you only showed off 5. And it's supposed to be coming out this year, so why are you hiding the rest of the other 15 games? I don't even remember what games are. I know Final Fantasy VII, Ridge Racer 4, Jumping Flash. I remember Jumping Flash so much. I had that game. That was a fun one. You remember those big box PlayStation cases? They're like rectangles.
Only vaguely.
They weren't the little jewel cases they quickly turned into. They're like these big fucking gigantic. I don't have any here. Surprisingly,
I'm shocked. You don't have any right by you as we're podcasting?
They're probably in a box somewhere in here.
How can I possibly know what it is or what it looks like if Willie can't instantly show me what it is?
What am I trying to show you?
A DVD or game. That's the only thing. The only thing we want to see. The only thing. Nothing else.
And also the bad $99. Or I'm sorry, $100 pretty much. Yeah. My whole thing about this, even with the Nintendo things, old games are old. I'm not going to buy it to play for 5 minutes of each thing and saying, yeah, that was fun. I'm done. When I could just use an emulator. I mean, it's not worth it.
So I think that's a fair statement. We're getting to the point now where all of these, it was a cool nostalgia play, the NES Classic, but now we're at this point like we're going to put out more mini consoles. So instead of, being able to buy like actual digital copies of these games that you can play on any modern console, it's buy a whole new console that locks you into just these games. I'm starting to get tired of it.
And also, like just get a PS3. Pretty sure all these games are available to buy on the PS3 is like the PS1 classics. And it'll probably be cheaper for you to do that. If you already have a PS3, of course.
The rebuilt PS3s at GameStop are down to like $100 now, and it's basically just another Blu-ray player. Yeah, you can play games on it. If you need a Blu-ray player, you just pick up a PS3.
Better. Sailor Poland points out in the chat room, supposedly the PS Classic is not going to come with a power adapter. It's sold separately.
That's so you buy the console that you can't
gives you the USB cable that powers it with the expectation you probably have an open USB port somewhere you can plug it into to power it. Versus a brick to power it.
So it's not as bad as when I bought my 3DS, brand new, pulled it out, and had no way of charging it.
Right, that was the bigger problem with the newer
DS. What? Yes, it had no way of charging the 3DS. No way of charging it.
There was no way to plug it in when you bought it.
Nope.
I would have returned that shit in a heartbeat.
With nothing.
That's fucking ridiculous.
So I can play this for a bit and then have to go spend more money. It's like when you got your PS1. And then you played it, and you're like, okay, I want to save this game. Oh, I don't have a memory card.
Oh, I did not miss the memory card days.
No, I was so happy when PS3 and Xbox just had internal hard drives.
We used to have to go walk uphill both ways fighting a giant monkey to save our games back in the day, kids. It was annoying.
And that monkey's name was Kong of Donkeys.
The Kong of Donkeys. I still don't get that name.
Well, I think it was a mistranslation or something from the donkey part. I can't remember exactly what off the top of my head.
Probably. It would make sense that it was.
I remember why Pac-Man's called Pac-Man.
Isn't he a Pokemon?
Well, no, originally he was going to be called Puck-Man because he looked like a puck.
Like fuck.
They didn't want vandalism to change the P to an F. I would like to play Fuckman.
That's thinking ahead. That's smart marketing.
I mean, you could play Fuckman with that. Was it Custer's Last Revenge on the Atari? Look that up, boys and girls. It's on YouTube right now. You can watch it unedited. But other than that, Dead by Daylight. Watched Thor Ragnarok with a friend because he has never seen it. Although he did see Infinity War though. So I didn't want to spoil too much. Was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but Infinity War takes place right after Ragnarok happens. Directly right after.
He saw Infinity War, but he didn't know how Thor and all them got on a spaceship.
Huh, whoops.
I mean, doesn't matter how they got on a spaceship. He's never saw Thor 1 or 2. I'm like, you don't need to. They're the bottom of the tier of Marvel.
You're a hater. You're just a
Thor
hater.
2. I'll give you Thor. Much better than Thor 2. Because Thor 2 is on the bottom. The worst Marvel movie ever.
You saw my ranking. You know you're wrong. It's all right.
What was your worst? I can't remember.
Iron Man 2.
I'm sorry, but Mickey Rourke had more personality than anything in Thor 2 The Dark World. He had the fucking bird.
Mickey Rourke needs to get his old face back. Because Mickey Rourke is creepy looking.
I'm okay with it. That hair, though, that's what you should be.
The hair was
the hair that's the same in every movie he's in, whether it's Expendables or Iron Man.
No. I mean, I was thinking about the wrestler, which is way different.
Didn't he just dye it for that?
It was like straightened out and just it was like blonde.
He just didn't have his
glowing
white streaks because he was trying to look like a retired
like,
Hulk Hogan.
Like almost like Dreadnoughts, almost, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
yeah, the only thing I remember from the wrestler is Aunt May. To be honest,
and you also have Sam Rockwell in Iron Man 2.
No, Sam Rockwell I liked.
I know
the story was weak. Though.
What did you like in Thor 2? That
Thor
was
2?
better than, or that was
Dark
better
Elves,
than Sam
motherfucker.
Rockwell.
I love me some Dark Elves. That and the stuff
they
with
didn't
Loki.
do shit.
The stuff with Loki was fantastic.
Iron Man 2 is vastly superior to Thor 2. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chris. I wouldn't say vastly, but I'll say it's better.
Hey, Chris, you realize you're agreeing with the guy who loves Man of Steel. So now you're both
That's
wrong.
okay.
That's
He can be
like
wrong
Man
there
of
and
Steel.
right here.
Man of Steel is the best DC universe, whatever the fuck they're calling it, movie.
No, that's called Wonder Woman.
You should go ahead and just kill
Wonder
yourself
Woman-
now, Willie. Because
Wonder Woman was just okay at best.
Wow.
You are so wrong.
So send your hate mail to js@gonnageek.com. It'll get forwarded to Willie.
Suicide Squad's a better movie than Man of Steel, Willie.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Before we start
fighting words. How's them for fighting words?
All right.
You're just being ridiculous to be ridiculous now. There's no point arguing. You just
Let's
wanna
not
argue.
let's not even bother throwing any of these punches. We can have this fight next week. We do need to wrap up. It's getting
Yeah, I
close
got
to
nothing
12:30.
else. I'm out of here.
Willie quits. He's got nothing else he wants to bring up.
No, I'll be here next week.
He's gonna quit
today.
like emo Superman. He's gonna give up.
Stop.
And quit being a
Stop. We're not going to get in this fight right now. We're
Let's
not
get
having this
political.
fight right now. No children. No.
Fine, Dad. Just end the show then.
Did we talk last week about the Henry Cavill thing, or was that happened this week? I can't remember.
Which
No, we
thing?
talked about it last week.
Yeah, we talked.
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's
Not
Witcher,
being
yes.
Superman anymore
And
because of
potentially not being Superman.
Shazam.
He should be the Sentry.
Yeah, and then being on The Witcher.
Yeah, or he should be
Well, I mean,
Cyclops,
that's it.
but that's neither here nor there. Guys,
He could be a good
He should be
Sentry.
Marvel Superman, is what he should be.
thank you so much
The
to everyone
Sentry.
who I'm trying really hard, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who did join us today for our hour and 18 minutes of shenanigans. Hour and change of shenanigans.
Don't
We
fight it,
talked
Chris.
about
Just
a
let
lot
it
of
happen.
stuff.
Just stop struggling.
I don't even want to know where he's going with that. I'm really scared.
No, you don't.
I'm
Oh,
just
I already
gonna-
went there. It's already there.
I'm going to power through this. So, a friendly reminder, we do stream this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over on Geeks.live. There's also a variety of other live content from the Gonna Geek Network you can check there. Just go scroll down to the bottom of the page on Geeks.live. You'll see the live calendar. I do believe a half hour from now as we're recording this, you guys can come and catch a live recording of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. and even more stuff tomorrow. Guys, a personal thing here. The GonnaGeek.com show streams on Mondays. Steven's out of town. I got to run the board tomorrow, so come join me for some shenanigans as I try and run the board and not blow up my computer while doing it. Wish me luck, because I'm
I
trying
want to see
really
a
hard.
fire.
I think I've got everything working for it, but we will see tomorrow whether I screw up Steven's show. Hopefully I don't
Nice.
screw it up. Steven's show that I've been on more than he has. Hint, hint,
Oh, I think you get to take the lead now.
no,
Chris,
I don't want
Chris is all about taking over shows.
Oh.
Remember, there used to be a guy named Adahay. He had a show called All Things Good and Nerdy.
I'm going on vacation for like a month if that's what the case is, so that Steven can be back in the lead. Do you guys have any final thoughts for us as we shut this thing down?
Superman.
Go enjoy
Returns is the
Spider-Man.
worst Superman movie ever.
Oh, don't start the fight again. Don't do it.
I'm not right. I'm not wrong.
Stop.
Not
stop.
at all.
You are.
Stop. You
You're
got
wrong.
6 seconds, and I'm stopping this fight.
You're wrong.
Fuck you, Telltale.
We'll see you guys next week. Good luck to all the Telltale employees.
Oh yeah, back. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.